This is my intro music. Welcome to the video. I hope you like it lots, so don't forget to subscribe and click the thumbs up button. Now let's react.
Hey, hi, hello there, and welcome to another episode of An Anthropologist Watches Amberlynn Reid. And boy, are we excited to be here today. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to witness girl world drama is what we are doing here. Did Amber do this on purpose? 100 effing%. So there you have it. Yeah, so all right, if you're somehow unaware of what's been going on, bless you. But Amber has obviously made another video in which she addresses comments made by, which has been confirmed via the Peanut Gallery that it was indeed "Oh Lordy, it's Geordie" that she was talking about. And I just got done watching part of, not the entirety of, Geordie watching himself talk about Amber's mom. So there's some Inception stuff going on here. I've also watched Alex's react to it. I've also watched Zachary Michael, which is unusual. I don't usually do that, but I know that I know that Zachary and I are usually on the same page when it comes to this particular topic here. So I wanted to see what Zachary had to say, and we are both on the same page as usual. I watched Kicking Geese's reaction to this. I wanted to see what my favorite reactors were doing with this material, mainly because I wasn't in a position today to record, but here we are now. Yeah, Christina, Zachary made some very, very good points, and I'm basically going to repeat a lot of it. So, because, like I said, he and I are on the same page in this one. So, all right. So, how to address this? I haven't actually watched Amber's video yet. I've only watched it through other people, and a lot of people chopped off the first few minutes of it because the meat of it is at the end, as usual. And I did watch Mr. Snowflake's reaction to it, which he was the first one I watched. And okay, let's start with that. This is going to be an interesting reaction. We's having a chat here. All right, so I started off with Mr. Snowflake's reaction to it. And he made a very good point that stuck out probably more than any other point that anyone else has made this entire time. But Zachary did kind of echo this point as well. Amber gets to a point where she starts talking about her mother and how on Oh Lordy, it's Geordie's live stream, I don't know, a couple days ago now, for whatever reason, when Mama Lynn's face pops on screen when they're at the bingo parlor, Geordie starts reading off Mama Lynn's rap sheet. Now, he doesn't... In his defense, it's not that he read it verbatim word for word, but he did go through the whole thing, and he did kind of summarize everything that had happened in Mama Lynn's past, okay? And I understand that that's a public record, and I understand that anyone can get a hold of it because that's how criminal records work in this country. I still don't think, as a reactor, that was appropriate. And I realize that's going to get me quite a bit of hate, but I don't think that was called for or necessary or relevant to the situation. So I don't feel like it was appropriate in any way, shape, or form. All that happened is Mama Lynn's face pops on for less than a second, and Geordie pauses it and starts going over Mama Lynn's rap sheet that he found on the farms. Or somebody had summarized Mama Lynn's rap sheet on the farms. And so I was watching... Okay, well, I am jumping around. So I was watching Geordie's reaction to himself. And you can tell he's a little miffed about getting called out for it, because I suspect that I'm not the only person that has that opinion. And Zachary said the same thing I just said, only in Zachary's own way. And again, it's a very good point. So I have nothing, actually there's nothing Zachary says that I have any issue with, because We're on the same page here. And I can tell by watching Jordy react to himself and considering the things that the feedback he's been getting because of that reaction. I can tell that Jordy's very defensive and kind of upset about the feedback he got from that. I unfortunately do think it was inappropriate. But I also know that I know it's hard to eat crow. I know it's not pleasant. That's not a dish that goes down well. So, like, it sucks. But keep in mind, just because I think it's inappropriate doesn't mean that anything Jordy did was, like, criminal or anything like that. Like I said, all of these records are public. He's reading it off the farms in the first place. So Jordy didn't do anything legally wrong. I just think it was inappropriate, in poor taste, and unnecessary. If it was something, there are times when that kind of a thing would be in context and would maybe need to be talked about, but that wasn't the time, I guess, is my point. So that sets Amber off, but we'll talk about Amber here in a minute. I don't really, at this point, we don't really actually care about Amber. I'm talking about the community in general reacting to this. So, like I said, I know it's hard to eat crow. And I also know that there's a lot of people out there that don't think, they think what Jordy did is perfectly acceptable. They don't have any problems with it. I get that too. I know that there's 2 to 3 sides to this conversation. There's people like me who are just like, that was kind of tacky. There's people who are like, oh my God, he's the devil. And then there's people who are like, what are you talking about? This was the greatest thing that's ever happened. So it just depends on where on the spectrum you're falling there. And there you have it. I don't think people should be on the extremes of any particular side. So I'm not confused about the laws or the statutes that Jordy was reading over. I mean, to be perfectly frank, it's irrelevant. There's, first off, like I said, her records are public. Anybody who's willing to pay whatever fee it is to get a copy of it can. So there's, and kind of like what Kicking Geese said, I don't actually care. So, yeah, we'll get to Amber. Don't worry. We'll get to Amber. Amber does not get to. Amber's not walking here. Don't worry. I just wanted to put. Really, the only reason I wanted to talk about Jordy right this second is because I just wanted to put everything up front about where I stand on this. Do I think Jordy's a bad person? Absolutely not. In any way, shape, or form. I watch his stuff occasionally. I like it when I watch it. It's fine. So I just, as a community, we should have these conversations, and we should understand that as a community, we don't all have to agree, and we can be on varying sides of a topic and still be a community. We also have to remember Amber's mom hasn't done anything. She popped her head on camera for like 2 seconds. Amber's mom didn't do anything. So that's another reason why I'm not really sure why people find this appropriate in this moment. It, again, would be completely different if Amber's mom had done something that constituted this, but she just exists. And that's not a good enough reason for me to constantly bring up a past that Mama Lynn has worked hard to get away from, which is something that Alex brought up. Alex is shook. Alex is rather open about his own challenges getting over addiction. And Zachary also pointed out that people who get away from addictions go through a lot, and they're not the same people in their addiction than they are outside of their addiction. Does that absolve Mama Lynn of things? Here's the deal. We have a legal system for a reason. And this is where I think people are going to get really mad at me. Because Mama Lynn did her time. She was brought before court. She was charged by the country or by the state. She accepted those charges. I believe she pled guilty. to the most heinous of them. She served her time. She was let out. Okay? I'm not saying what she did was right, and clearly it's not, because she served time for it. So she even admits that it's the wrong thing, and that's why she served time, but we have this system in place for a reason. And part of that reason is, within reason, if a person has served their time and has served their sentence that is handed down as their punishment, after that, it's not that they're absolved, but we need to acknowledge that the issue is settled for the most part. I'm sure there will be situations where even I will be like, hell no! But the other thing that both Zachary and Alex both brought up was, and I guess I really should say, like, content warning here for people who don't like discussions of domestic violence and potential animal abuse. This may not be your moment. One of the most heinous, in my opinion, the more heinous of the crimes was the charge for, and Alex and Zachary pointed this out, the charge that she got for the animal, for the service dog, and I think it just says service animal, the charge for that could be anything from preventing a service animal from performing its duties, whatever that means, all the way to sending said service animal upstate, to a farm upstate, forcibly, if you catch my drift. And as far as I am aware, that's not clarified within the charges. So it literally could be something to the effect of she prevented the dog from doing whatever the dog's trained to do. And we don't even know whose dog it was. We're assuming it's the grandmother's, but we don't know. So there's that. And it could be as severe as said animal is no longer among the living, but we don't know. And that's another problem with this kind of stuff. The whole story isn't available. And so people are going to jump to conclusions based on their feelings. And it could be a best guess. I mean, maybe there's somebody who has a little bit more details. Maybe. But both Zachary and Alex both kind of brought up the fact that the charge could be anywhere within that spectrum. It's a very wide open charge. I'm not sure why, but there you have it. Well, Abby, when we're talking about like that kind of a crime, that's why there's a register. The register for violent offenders exists for a reason. And here's something that Zachary pointed out. Amber should just not have brought it up. Amber is the queen of ignoring shit. Like, if something doesn't serve Amber's narrative about herself or her life, she just ignores it. It does not exist. So the fact that she is addressing this tells me that she's 100% using this for content. And if she wants to come after reactors, those reactors are the ones that have done something heinous, and it's like, you're the one who, again, this is like the doctor thing. You're the one who's told us your mom's life story. You're the one who brings this up constantly. You're the reason why people have dug into your mom's past, because you keep bringing it up, knowing what kind of audience you have. And then on top of it, you want to sit here in this video that we're going to watch. You want to sit here in this video and lambaste reactors for monetizing your mom's story when you're the one who does it. You're the one who started it, and you're doing it further here. Wouldn't your mom just be happier if you just stopped bringing it up? Like, if your mom was boring, no one would care. But you're the one that keeps bringing this shit up. Okay? And so what little, like Zachary said, what little privacy her mom may have had is gone now. That's just how this works in this community. And so, I mean, if I was her mom, I'd be kind of pissed, personally. Yeah, Christina, she ignored things about Jade for 2 years, but she'll cry on camera. Yeah, exactly. And Zachary pointed that out in his response to this. I think Alex may have said something to that effect as well. I don't know if she lied about the service animal charge. That's the problem with the service animal charge. It's so wide open. It could be any number of things. And we'll get to it because I do plan on reacting to it. I know I've been talking for a minute, but I think her exact wording is something to the effect of, my mom never served 5 years in prison, which would actually be true. That doesn't mean she wasn't sentenced to 5 years and got out halfway through. All right, so going all the way back to what I was talking about before I got off on the tangent, I watched Mr. Snowflake's reaction to this first. And he kind of did something like Zachary did, where he just sat down and he talked about basically the important part of the video. And he points out that Amber starts crying, as she does. And he says something to the effect of, and I felt sad, but I didn't feel sad because Amber was crying. I felt sad because I wasn't sad that Amber was crying. And that's the truth of the matter. And I think that's where a lot of, well, I know that's where I'm at. Amber's tears don't affect me anymore. And neither does her outrage. She's outraged in this. And I've still got like, I think 20 minutes left in Kicking Geese's reaction from, I think, yesterday. And there's a freeze frame of Amber where she's scolding us. And I left the room and I came back in and I was looking at Amber's face. She's smiling. You know, she's got that damn duper's delight and those dead eyes of hers going on. And like, this is the moment where she's telling us that we're horrible people because we're monetizing things. And she's duper's delight smiling at the camera. And I'm just like, this is why I have no compassion for you anymore. Like, if you were anyone else, this would be a much bigger deal. But you have done worse. You've done the same. And even right now, when you're sitting here pretending to be defending your mom, your duper's delighting it. And it just actually made me kind of mad. But it does make me think about Mr. Snowflake and what he said about how I'm not sad that I'm not sad. I just don't care anymore. Like, there's no emotional connection there for me at all anymore. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who are like Mr. Snowflake who are going through a moment like that, who are just like, I'm not sad that she's sad. I'm not upset that she's yelling at me. You know, there's a lot of people who have no reaction to her over the top emotional moments because they're insincere. She cries wolf a lot. And, you know, give it 2 weeks and she'll have some other story. Rearrange the story in some way. Like, half of me just wants to jump to the part that's interesting, but it's not the format of the channel when it comes to Amber, unfortunately. So if you are, well, it's way too late. I've been talking for a half hour at this point. If you're new here, hi. If you're watching the rerun, hi. There's a live chat in the corner. That's who I'm talking to. I'm not talking to myself, I promise. Anyway, let's get into this. I've got her sped up to time and a quarter. It's going to be boring for the first few minutes. Where does she start in? 4 minutes. That's not bad. We can make it through the first 4 minutes.
Vlog. So we stopped and got some gas, and my mom's like, "Try these." She had them in her back seat, and I said, "Okay." Maple bacon popcorn. You
And then I ate the entire bag.
guys, it's weird, but it actually tastes like bacon. But it's also a little sweet. I don't know, but I'm low-key here for it. She was like, for 3.5 cups, it's only 150 calories. I thought that was cute. She's never really like counted calories before, but she's trying, so.
Oh my god, you're such an inspiration. You've inspired your mother to start counting calories.
Yeah. Anyways, I recommend.
Where is she? Oh, that's right. They're in this weird place.
Okay, guys, so I got a new phone. I'm currently using it. So if the quality is bad, I have to figure it out because last time this happened, I had to like do a setting type deal. So yeah.
Actually, it looks kind of nice. You know, she's got whatever the newest iPhone is. I'm going to get the new Samsung.
At this place called, what is it, Flower Tiles?
Yeah.
My mom wanted to try it. It's like healthy stuff. Cute. We're number 64. I guess they're gonna bring the food to us because we had to like go up there and order it. And I got like a lemonade moment. It's actually so cute in here, I'm not gonna lie. Like this is where we're sitting in a little booth area. Like look how beautiful.
That's cute.
So there's my mom's food.
Yum. I'm not gonna lie, guys. That looks bland. I like shrimp. I would eat the shrimp. I'm not a big plain brown rice person. White rice. Brown rice, not so much.
She has shrimp, brown rice, and broccoli. And I got mashed potatoes, salmon, and like this mac and cheese.
Okay. Okay, but okay, at least this makes no sense. You got salmon, mac and cheese, and potatoes. And that's like 2 cups of potatoes. That's at least a cup, a full-on cup of potatoes. Probably 2 cups. That's a lot of food. I mean, and it's such a fat meal. And I eat carbs. Like, I do the high carb Hannah thing, and that's just a huge fucking proportion. And there's no vegetables. Like, I add meat to the high carb Hannah meal plan because it's a vegan plan as far as I can tell. So I add meat to mine, and that's still a massive fucking serving, and there's still no vegetables. High carb Hannah's meals are a lot more like Mama Lynn's over here, especially once I get done adding stuff to it, because like that's the right amount of shrimp for one person. Why is her meal so big? Because there's not that much rice in Mama Lynn's bowl, and it's mostly broccoli with whatever the hell is on top of the broccoli. I don't like broccoli, so like why is this so different? Yeah, Quirky Love Rose, like she just needs to add vegetables and she'd be so much more satiated throughout the day.
Are you excited, Mom?
I am.
Okay, we're about to, I'm gonna do a taste test.
I started my diet yesterday.
Do you want them to know? My mom started a diet yesterday. She wanted me to tell you about her diet. She's counting calories. All right.
Is she being successful on it? Unlike someone else in the room?
Mashed potatoes. That tastes homemade. A little mac and cheese moment. And it's like dry, which you guys know I'm a dry girl.
Yeah.
I like how she's looking away from the camera.
Wow, that's good.
She's very nervous about eating in public, I've noticed, because normally she's like eye banging herself while she's feeding herself. And first I thought she was purposefully looking away because she was definitely trying to not do that in the last couple videos. But I think she's just nervous. And so she's just looking anywhere except at the camera.
I didn't know if I was supposed to.
Oh, you're okay.
Okay.
You're good.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy, okay?
You too.
Thank you.
This broccoli is gone.
She said you enjoy it. You said you too.
I do that.
All right, salmon.
My shrimp.
Oh, there she goes. Never mind. Never mind.
Oh, this is good. You like it, Mom? She's in heaven. I'm in heaven. We're good.
Who makes... The only time I've had what you would consider a dry macaroni and cheese is when my family makes baked macaroni for the holidays. And it's baked. So it's not creamy, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. If you know what baked macaroni and cheese is, you get me. But to just have it served on a plate like that? Good God. Her and this mirror are not friends. Let me just put it that way. Yay, bathroom. Cool.
So we're currently at Walmart, and Walmart is like stepping up their game. Like, what is happening? Like all these pillows and like the
Walmart didn't have pillows before?
decor. Excuse me. I think I'm gonna get this.
Please stop. Please stop collecting those things.
And y'all can't come for me for it, okay?
Oh, yes, I can.
Because by the time you see this, it's already bought. And also this.
Okay, that I like.
Yep. Okay, guys, so I saw this store on TikTok. So I was like, I kind of want to go.
Apparently Pop Shelf is owned by Dollar Tree. Or it's like a subsidy thereof. You know, yeah, the stuff she chooses to film can be really weird, but if this was any other video, at least we're getting out of the house and we're going around and she's showing us more than just a quick second of things. So I guess at least we have that.
So we're going. You guys, this store is honestly so cute. There's like a little bit of literally everything. Y'all, I think I found my spot. Look at all this colorful paper and pens and markers.
Why doesn't she scrapbook?
That is amazing. I'm about to...
She would totally... She strikes me as the scrapbooking type in that she likes to collect the scrapbooking stuff. Which is why I don't scrapbook, because I would never actually do the scrapbooking. I would just collect all of the things. She's totally in that same brain space.
To be looking at all this. Amberlynn was here. There's my signature.
Ooh.
They also have a ton of like fun pens.
I hate those things. They're always the cheapest, crappiest quality pen. They always dry up and stop working after 2 uses. Yeah, they look cute, but now you just got like the stick that does nothing.
Oh my gosh. I literally just fell in love with all this hand soap and like body spray, you guys, but I need to step away because I want to buy one of each and I need to like stop right now.
I don't know how I feel about that packaging. I want to like it, but I don't. What does it remind me of? I don't know.
Here's Amberlynn in the wild. Okay, guys, so...
Alright, so if you stumbled in on this and don't know what's going on, this is where we're going to start talking about Amber's bullshit. So just letting y'all know. Now's the time to bail if you don't want to stick around for it. Alright, deep breath. Alright, I would also take this a whole lot more serious if she would take those stupid sunglasses off of her head. It's just... It's not the aesthetic she thinks it is.
So I personally hate that I even have to talk about this.
Me too.
But I'm going to, because not only is it important to me, but it's also important to my mom. I don't even really...
Did your mom ask you to do this, though? Like, that's my question. Was your mom like, hey, I'm getting all these messages and I don't like it. Can you ask your fans to back off? That never works, by the way. And it's like, or did Amber just decide she just woke up this morning and was like, drama? Because that's what she got.
I don't know where to start. So there is a reaction channel that begs for more side characters on.
To be fair, I had no idea who she was talking about because pretty much all of the channels I watch beg for side characters.
My channel. And they've also begged for my mom to be in my videos. So in my newest video, my mom waves at the camera. You see her hand for a second and then you see her face for a second. That is literally it. And so this reaction channel took it upon themselves to sit there and read every single charge that my mom has or hasn't.
Charge? Look, I know that Amber likes to rewrite shit, especially history, but this is public record. They're not charges. Your mom was charged. Your mom served time, okay? Your mom admitted guilt. They're not great charges, but they're real. It really happens. They're not going to go away just because you're wishing them away, you know? And if you keep bringing it up, people are going to keep looking into it. Okay? This is why I'm always like, if you don't want people talking about something, don't bring it up.
Not, which I'll explain in a second, gotten in her past. So before I clarify or whatever it may be, any of the charges.
You can tell she's flustered because she's not coherent at the best of times, but the thing that struck me hardest when I was watching this through the Kicking Geese's channel her sentence structure just completely disintegrates around this point. And there's several points where she's just like, she sounds like Yoda. And I'm just like, she's definitely flustered, because normally, like, it's passable as English. There's several moments here where I'm just kind of like, I think I know what you're trying to say. But that's one of her tells that she's actually upset about it. She might be relaxed.
I just want to say, like, how does anyone expect me to have side characters on my channel if things like this happen?
I just think she's using quotation marks incorrectly. I don't think she understands what this means.
I'm sorry, but listing off my mom's past charges and the things that she's done over a decade ago on your YouTube channel during a live stream while reacting to my videos, my current videos, is tacky. It's super tacky.
This is one of those moments where I hate myself because I kind of have to agree with her. So.
And it's all for monetization reasons, and I think it's really pathetic, honestly. So
says the person who's making another video yet again about your mom's history, and who will go on later in this video to talk about it further. Like, yeah, I agree what happened was tacky. I mean, that's a good word for it, but you can't call it pathetic and then turn around and do it yourself. So, all right. Do we all remember back during Laundrygate where Amber was trying to play the victim? Zachary brought this up as well. Amber was trying to play the victim, overplay the victim during the whole somebody snuck up and took a picture of her, very creepily kind of took pictures and videos of her in public. This is another thing that Zachary and I were both like, However, part of Amber's manipulation tactic, excuse me, that she pulls online like this is she talks down to the audience, but she's currently targeting reactors. And what she's trying to do here is she's trying to turn the audience, I'm doing it now, she's trying to turn the audience against the reaction channels. And she thinks she's being slick by not mentioning the channel name itself, because she's like, oh, well, I would never mention their name. It's a public channel. It was a public live, you know. So, like, my point is you're not protecting anybody by not saying their name. I'm not saying name names. I'm just saying also everybody figured out who it was pretty damn quick. So, but she's trying to create animosity between reaction channels and the overall viewership. And she's got enough support that I'm pretty sure if she sent her minions out after a channel, that it would be at least nerve-wracking, if not annoying. I don't know if she's got enough pull to really do anything beyond just basic harassment, but I talk about how she's a manipulator a lot and how she has a lot of power over the people who are in her immediate realm, because she can pull this kind of crap on the people who are closest to her and basically kind of like talk them into agreeing with her, or even gaslight if necessary. This tactic doesn't work that well on something as large as a YouTube audience, because the audience is too large. And also, you're dealing with multiple individuals, not a singular person. But she views the camera as a singular thing, as a singular person. So she thinks she can convince the audience, aka the camera, to be on her side and to turn against the reaction channels, because she views the reaction channels as being separate from her audience. That's not true. And the other problem is, I'm not saying there's like some secret cabal of reaction channels, but we're all pretty aware of who each other are at this point, especially the larger channels who have been doing this for a very long time. They all know who each other are and where each other are, and on certain, not like literally where they are, but where they stand on various topics and that kind of a thing. It's hard it's hard to turn an audience against a system like that because the system can fight back. And like with Zachary's video, Zachary went back and pulled up actual video clips of Amber saying and doing things that she later on condemns us of doing. Same thing with Mr. Snowflake. Mr. Snowflake went through and pulled up, I think, a couple different clips basically demonstrating Amber doing the exact thing she's getting ready to yell at us for doing. So the manipulation that she tries to do on camera just doesn't, it doesn't work. And it comes off badly because she doesn't have enough pull to just cancel somebody. She seems to think she does, but she doesn't. And again, when she goes after the reaction channels, she's usually punching up. And it just doesn't work real well because Zachary's audience is like massive. You're not going to turn Zachary's audience against him. You know, same thing with Oh Lordy, It's Jordy. Yeah, that's who you were talking about. And yeah, I can tell he's gotten some feedback, but that's it. You know, and if he's smart, he's just going to roll with it and just keep doing what he's doing because the rest of the shit that he does isn't problematic. So there's really no incentive for him to change. You know, this is one of those incidences where you go, yeah, okay, I probably shouldn't have done that. And then you just keep moving on with life. This is not going to do anything. And the only people it might convince are like brand new babies. And those are the only people I can imagine who will fall for this shit. And y'all are having your own conversation, so I'm just going to keep going.
By doing this, like, do you think that's going to make my mom want to continue being on my channel when people are literally spreading false rumors about her? And not only that, but digging up things that she did 2 decades ago. So this reaction channel listed off quite a few things. And yes, some of them my mom very much did. My mom is not afraid to admit to the things that she did during her addiction, because when she was on drugs, she did a lot of things that she is very ashamed of. But everything she confronts head on. She takes accountability. Even to this day, she takes accountability for things that she did even when I was just a child. She has a lot of regrets, I can definitely say that, but she is almost a decade sober. I never in a million years thought that would happen, like truly. Like, my mom is the epitome of you can change. You can be a better person and you can do good things not only for yourself, but for the world.
Okay. Part of me does wonder though, how much of this is like little Amber, you know, like the actual child Amber, because her mom, even though she down talks her mom a lot, and she does in this as well. I never thought she'd be clean. Cool. That's a great way of being supportive there. But then she goes on to like, not you can be a better person, not just for yourself, but for the world. It's kind of like my dad can beat up your dad because my dad's Superman kind of a thing. It just kind of strikes me as being very child-minded. Not childish, just child-minded. And I do kind of wonder if Amber isn't having a moment of like hero worship for her mom, which is fine. I don't judge people for that. But that also might explain why she feels the need to make this video like she does, because she's literally coming to her hero's defense, if that makes sense. It doesn't work, but yeah, she's stunted. Yeah, but it's just most of the time she's acting like a spoiled teenager. This is one of those moments where it's even younger than that.
So I just want to start off by saying that yes, my mom has been to jail. My mom has been to prison. She has been in and out of jail and prison ever since I was just a little girl. Same with my dad. That is what I grew up with, what I had to deal with. I'm getting emotional. I don't talk a lot about
Are you?
these things. Fuck.
It's very raw, you guys. This is real.
The fact that I feel pressured to have to speak on this is ridiculous. And it's so wrong on so many levels. And
Cat mom. Yes, we will come around to that. To Amber not making the connection between her mom's addictions and her own food addiction.
I know a lot of people are just not going to care. Like, I just feel like this is wrong. But I just feel like I have to speak on this because it's not fair. But yes, that is something I dealt with. I was in foster care for a reason. These are things that I do not really talk about. And it's because...
But you do. You talk about it all the time. Like, Even I know most of the history of this crap because, like, you talk about it constantly.
Everything that I say, everything that I do, there's always speculation. There's always people calling me a liar. And I think the subject of foster care, what I experienced in foster care, why I was in foster care, those are things that it's hard for me to touch on because some of the things that I went through sounds like a lie, sounds exaggerated, sounds insane, but it's very much stuff that I went through. I'm not saying my life was any worse than anyone else's, it doesn't matter. But what I'm trying to say is that yes, my mom has made some lousy choices. But there is a rumor going around that my mom went to prison for 5 years for killing a service animal. I am telling you right now, that never happened. You have the wrong person.
So, I think Alex and Zachary have both verified this one, and I know where they verified it from. So, and that not only does the birth date, the name, and the birth date match, apparently there's a mugshot. So, I do wonder if maybe Amber didn't know about it. That's literally the only defense I can give here. But also, here's the other problem that people have brought up. Amber's a lying liar who lies. So, this isn't one of those moments where you can lie your way out of it, though. There's public record here. A publicly accessible public record. It's very easy to demonstrate that this statement was false because I can ask for a copy of this if I want to pay the fee, and I know where to go to look for it. I've even looked this up on my own because the first time I heard this rumor going around, I was like, bullshit. So, that's why I'm like, I know this is a real charge because I found it myself.
My mom has never been to prison for 5 years, period. The longest she was ever in prison was for 2 years.
That's the point. That's the part that I think is important to hear again.
My mom has never been to prison for 5 years, period. The longest she was ever in prison was for 2 years.
My mom has never been to prison for 5 years, period. The longest she was ever in prison was 2 years. That's not the same statement as my mom was sentenced to 5 years. And the fact that she served 2 of it, I mean, they'll do that time and they'll do that half-time thing for good behavior or stuff like that. Like there's a lot of ways to get a sentence reduced. And depending on the state, it varies, I guess. But she's not necessarily denying that Mama Lynn was sentenced to 5 years. She's denying that Mama Lynn served 5 years. It's the way she words it. And these are those moments where I'm like, she's not stupid. She's just ignorant. Somebody else brought police dogs up in Alex's feed. I'm almost positive this is universal across the country. Canine units are sworn officers. And if you go after a canine, you've attacked a cop. They treat the canines as if, well, because they're sworn. I don't know how you swear a dog in. I don't know how it takes an oath, but they are considered sworn officers, and any act of violence against one of the canines is considered assault of an officer. So they wouldn't refer to a police dog as a service animal. I just wanted to clear that up. Oh, thank you, Joanna. Yes, she is a word manipulator when she thinks about it. And then sometimes she forgets that she said things. The Vach, that's the thing. Like, there's no... When we talk about the service animal being removed from the living, there's no evidence that that's what happened. It could be what happened, but it could also be, as I think Lee mentioned it earlier, preventing the animal from performing its duties could literally mean you locked it in another room. You held it by the collar and didn't let it do whatever it's trained to do. It could be something very, very weird like that. It could also be you physically removed the animal from the land of the living. There's no way she got 5-year sentence for something not awful. I mean, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying we don't know. We don't know what it was. And she did only serve 2 years of it. So it could be one of those things where the 5 years was the minimum sentence and they couldn't sentence her lower. There are like sentence minimums for a lot of charges these days. Okay, so Juliet kind of found out what I was saying. 5 years is the minimum for the charges, which leads to believe that the dog was either minorly injured or was interfered with doing their task. Yeah, so if 5 years is the minimum, then that means Mama Lynn would have been sentenced to 5 years, period, and then she served the 2 and got out because, I mean, I don't know. It could be really bad. It could not be really bad. It's probably somewhere in the middle is probably where that's at. I mean, it's probably a good idea, maybe Potato, to assume that the dog isn't dead until proven otherwise, you know. But, I mean, Mama Lynn was charged. She pled guilty. She did serve time. Like, the charge itself is real. The time that she served is real. She's also served it. You know, Zachary asked something to the effect of, what would it take for people to accept that Mama Lynn had served her time, like had paid her price? And I mean, I feel like this is one of those no-win situations because there's going to be some people that are going to be like, no, it's never going to be enough. And there's going to be some people like me who's like, well, I mean, we have a law system for a reason, and I have to sometimes, most of the time, believe that it's going to work. You know, for most things, maybe. Yeah, Amber's saying that this was someone else. I don't know. It's Amber. She may not know herself. Yeah, exactly, Ali the animator. We don't know exactly what she's guilty of. Here's my other problem. Other than Amber bringing this shit up, it's irrelevant. You know, even if it was manslaughter, it's irrelevant. It has nothing to do with the current storyline. Yeah, Whimsical Mimsy. Apparently her mom, after she beat up Grandma Lynn, was like, going to prison because I beat up my mom. I mean...
And that was for drug-related charges, which most of them were. My mom would never hurt an animal. And my mom, like, she doesn't care what people think of her, but my mom came to me about this. Not only people are messaging me privately about it, but they're messaging my mom about it. My mom was confused. She had no idea where this came from because she has never done that. It's all—
Look, I would be more concerned that, like, random people are messaging me. Like, maybe it's just Facebook, because you, like, anybody, I think, can message you in these days, but, like, if she's talking to, like, she's getting random text messages on her phone, that would freak me the fuck out.
obviously another person with the same name as my mom, because that has never happened. And if she did do something like that, she would be the one to admit it. Things that she admits to, the things that she has done in the past, some of it, it's hard for her to admit to, but the fact is, who you are in active addiction is not your true self. And I'm not making excuses for her. She has changed so much. She is almost a decade sober, completely different person. But I'm not gonna sit here and justify the things that she's done. Neither me or my mom wanna do that. But we wanna make it very clear that if you're going to name off my mom's charges for monetization gain on your behalf, at least get your facts straight and stop spreading rumors that aren't real. This is
right back at ya? Look, girl, you can deny this shit all you want. As far as I understand, there's concrete proof that this was your mom. So, you know? But this kind of thing has never stopped her before. Kicking Geese pointed out, and a couple other people have also pointed out, that Amber's just using this to look like a victim again. And then we talk about that a lot. Like, Amber can only be three things. She's the know-it-all, she's the victim, and she's the hero. And this kind of a situation, she gets to be her mom's hero. She gets to be the victim of the internet. And she gets to be the know-it-all because, you guys, that's not my mom. You have the wrong person. And it's like, I mean, unless your mom has an evil twin. But here's the thing with the whole addiction thing. Like, she again brings up that her mom's been 10 years sober, or close to 10 years sober. And that's not easy. Even Alex pointed that out. That's not easy to do, especially when it's, how to say this without getting hit. What did Alex call it? Mathematics. There you go. You get mathematics mouth. That one's rough. Like that one, we've got an epidemic of that in Indiana, especially southern Indiana. And as far as I know, up north, it's pretty bad too. So it's a rough drug to come off of and to stay sober from, especially if you're in the area where you had access to it to begin with, because now you're still surrounded by it, you know? So I'm not going to knock her mom for that kind of stuff, you know? And that's anyone I've ever known who has done that, and more people than I care to talk about, but they're not the same. They're very different people. So if her mom was like doing math a lot, she probably is a totally different person, you know? So I'm sure Mama Lynn is not happy with past Mama Lynn, but she's not, she's a different person who still has that baggage, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yes, I mean, some of these things are like perpetual recovery, at least the way I've had it described to me by people who go through this kind of thing. And what Amber doesn't understand is she sees her mom's addiction to hard drugs, and she's like, oh, well, thank God I don't have any of that problem. And what she doesn't realize is she's got the exact same problem, only with food. And Amber, unlike her mom, is not willing to put the hard work in, the very hard work in, to recover from an eating addiction, from a food addiction. Which is why Mama Lynn has turned her life around, and we're still dealing with the same Amber that we met 10 years ago.
It's not something that I will be speaking about. It's not something that I'm gonna come back on here, clarify this, clarify that, because I think it's bullshit that I even have to do this to begin with. My mom showed her face for a second, and this is the way that that reaction channel is gonna behave. It's not a good look. I just wish people would get to know the woman that she is now and not go off of, oh, she did this 20 years ago. Oh, she did this 15 years ago, and she might have done that. Like, no. I just think overall, what my mom did 15 years ago, 20 years ago doesn't need to be talked about. Like, why does it matter? People literally live lifetimes.
I mean, I hate agreeing with her because I don't like it, but and I've already said my piece on this. I mean, I agree with her. Stop making me agree with Amber.
If you guys would have known my mom 15 years ago versus the woman she is now, you wouldn't even recognize the two. It's two completely different people. But regardless, the service animal thing did not happen. That was not my mother. And I just feel the need to stick up for her because I see how this has hurt her. The fact that people would think that she would do something like that, she wouldn't even do that in her active addiction. I think reaction channels need to stop being tacky and they need to react to what I'm saying and what I'm showing currently instead.
Okay.
People constantly try to drum up some stuff from histories ago. It's just like, really? Is that what you have and what you're trying to do?
Okay. Since someone else has already mentioned it in chat, I mean, now is the opportune time to mention, like, using Destiny's brother's past as a gotcha moment during that live. You know, this is one of those moments. What is it? A rule for thee, but not for me? You know? I can do it. But you can't. Amber, you did the exact thing that you are complaining about us doing to Destiny as a way of trying, not only to Destiny, but it was done in a way to control and manipulate Destiny. The whole conversation centered around how Amber wanted Destiny to quit talking about Amber. And to do so, she said something to the effect of, I've got all kinds of nasty information about you and your family, but I'm not that kind of person. And it's like, oh, then why did you bring it up if you're not that kind of a person? Basically, she was trying to tell Destiny, stop talking about me or I'm going to throw your dirty laundry out there too. And then Destiny called her bluff and was like, what do you even know? And she says, your brother. And Destiny goes, psh, that. Clearly the brother has recovered or something because it didn't even phase Destiny, which takes the power out of it. But that doesn't mean Amber wasn't trying to, in that moment, to manipulate Destiny by threatening to spill tea about Destiny's family. So, personal gain. So she wants to go after the reaction channels for talking about her mom and her history that Amber keeps bringing up for fun and profit when she does it herself when she thinks it's going to be beneficial to her. I'm not saying that what happened is right, because I've already said I don't. But this is hypocritical. This is hypocrisy in action.
I think it's really pathetic because let's switch roles real quick. Imagine if that was happening to you and your mother. Hey guys, so it's been a little bit since I filmed that last clip and I had to journal afterwards because
oh God, I had to journal afterwards, and all of my journals that I journal in. So many journals.
It put me in a very weird headspace. I really love to journal, like where I just let my like thoughts just fall, even if they make no sense. Like,
because no one has ever thought of that type of journaling before. There's totally not a form of journaling called daily pages or brain dumping. Those forms of journaling have never existed before. But now that Amber has mentioned them, now I think it's a brilliant idea. And I guess I'll start doing that now, as opposed to the daily pages that I've been doing for over a year at this point. So quirky.
Like a stream of consciousness, if you will. And I started journaling about the aspect of like drug addicts becoming sober and them just like looking back at the things that they've done to themselves, to the people around them, their family, while they were actively in their addiction. And it's like getting sober and not taking accountability is one thing, but getting sober and taking accountability and every day working towards a better you, like that means something. That's powerful.
I don't understand what the point of this is. I think this is probably the one part I really haven't seen that much of. I'm not arguing because she's right, but it's another one of those things where it's like, if this was anyone except Amber, I'd be like, oh man, you are so right. These are powerful words. Yeah, what you are saying resonates. When Amber says this shit, I'm like, what's the motive behind this? Because there's a motive behind it. It's not genuine. It's not authentic. There's a reason for this.
Because I know how hard it was for my mom. I know how hard it was. And the fact that she was able to do that and that so many other people are also capable.
So wait, okay. Did she journal with those sunglasses on her forehead, on her head the whole time? Is that what I'm to take away from this? Is that she was journaling with her sunglasses on her head? Hey, we're in the closet though. We're back in the lecture zone. She's really red too. She doesn't usually get this red unless she's been drinking.
Of doing the same thing and improving their life. And there's so many people who are currently drug addicts who haven't changed their lives yet, but they will. I don't like the thought of people not being able to move on from like their past self when they were in their active addiction. I don't like that people are throwing this in my mom's face, throwing her charges in her face. I'm just talking about the ones that are real. I'm not talking about the service animal because that never happened. Like,
you can keep saying that all you want, I guess.
How are addicts able to move on with their life? You can't just keep throwing things in their faces.
I mean, she's right. When people put the effort in to recover or just to change in general, I mean, there's more types of addiction than just substances. You know, if you put the hard work in, I don't think you deserve like a gold medal because you're suddenly a saint, but you've clearly put the work in, you know? I mean, depending on what we're talking about, you know, caveats for everyone. What was it? Nuance.
I don't want anyone to come across my video or just like people in general, like talking down about drug addicts. Like it's just a topic to me that's like hard. And I just can't stand by that. Being a drug addict is a disease and you do need a lot of help. And
so's having a chronic eating disorder. So's half the things you keep telling us you've been diagnosed with. Like, who are you talking to? Who are you trying to convince here? I don't think there are many people, part of in-girl world in general, who would not agree that Mama Lynn has changed and has worked hard to change. Like, I don't feel like there's too many people who would be like, who wouldn't agree. So I don't know who she's talking to. it feels like she's talking to herself. This feels like watching Glitter and Lasers when Anna's clearly talking to herself, clearly pep talking herself because no one else is going to pep talk her for her. It just kind of has that feeling.
And after everything my mom's gone through to better herself, and for people to just like do this to her, it kind of like breaks my heart. And it breaks my heart.
Oh, Chantel didn't almost get canceled. Chantel's on my S list forever and ever and ever.
For other people as well. Thankfully, I am able to separate who my mom is now versus who she was. It took some time.
You can separate the art from the artist. Sorry.
Trust me. And I just hope that like all addicts get that opportunity to change, better themselves, and move on after taking accountability for what they've done.
You're the one that keeps bringing it up. Every time she talks about her mom. Especially every time she talked about her mom before she moved to Oklahoma. She couldn't talk about her mom without mentioning that her mother was a recovered addict. Like, I really can't recall too many times, really, where she talked about her mom without reminding us that her mother was a recovering addict. And she reminds us fairly frequently since she's moved to Oklahoma of this fact. Like, she's constantly talking about it. So, like, quit bringing it up. I mean, there's still going to be people out there who are going to keep track of it. I mean, you can't stop that now. You started that ball rolling. Just, if you want people to quit talking about it, though, stop bringing it up.
I hope anyone struggling.
She's laughing.
This is just hard. Because, like, my dad is still an active addict. And it's like, you guys know my brother. Like, I don't want to go into detail, but, like, it's still in my family and it's still close to me and it's hard. And more than anything, I just hate that this happened and that this reaction channel got a laugh out of it. I think it's really sad. But
I don't think anybody laughed at it. That's a pause. I don't think anybody was laughing. Going, things that make you go, sure. Was it appropriate? No. Laughing? I don't think so. I mean, maybe we're laughing now with your weird ass tears, but ugly laughs. Yeah, she is crying for herself more than her mom.
But I'm not gonna let this get me down, and it better not get my mom down because she has worked way too hard to feel bad about herself.
Girl, she's been sober for 10 years. You really think this is the worst thing that's happened to her? The worst challenge she's had in 10 years? I think, I don't want to put it down, but I think Mama Lynn's probably a little tougher than this. Maybe she's confused. Maybe she's unappreciative of it. She should be. You know, maybe all of those things are true, but you don't stay sober for 10 years from something like math without figuring it out how to deal with it. Mama Lynn probably goes to therapy. Something Amber should maybe think about doing. We know she goes to church, which, say what you will about organized religion, if that's going to be her support network, I mean, that's going to help her a great deal. You know, she probably has, what are those called? A mentor? I don't know. Who's the guy that you call when you're feeling like you're going to relapse? They give, when you're in the different programs, they have you pair up with somebody. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You know, my point is she probably has one of those. Like, she has a support network at home. She has a partner. This is weird, uncalled for, out of the blue, possibly. But, you know, if you'd quit bringing it up, it would probably boil down. You know, I think your mom's going to be okay. Sponsor. Thank you. Thank you. Sponsor.
I'm sorry that this vlog took this turn, but right now this is reality. But I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Bye. So if her mom's been sober for the better part of 10 years, Amber's been on the web. Amber's been on YouTube for the better part of 10 years. Well, for 10 years. So her mom got sober not too long after Amber started filming. That's interesting to me.
Hey, hi, hello there. Obviously, this is post-editing me
here to tell you guys, if you've made it this far in the video, go ahead and leave a broccoli emoji down in the comments section, and I will do better in the future with giving you guys emojis at the end of the videos. And let me know what you guys think down below. I know this is kind of a controversial topic. I know it hits a couple nerves, so I know there's going to be people who disagree, and that's fine. We can disagree. It's okay. We are adults. It happens. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments section down below. Thank you to everybody who's been supporting the channel. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to my members. Thank you to the live chat. And thank you to everybody who's going to hit the thumbs up button. And I will hopefully see everybody in the next one. Bye!
This is my outro music. You can't copyright strike me because it's just me singing. This is my outro music. Thank you for watching. See you next time.